By late 1780, the American Revolution had entered a critical phase. After the fall of Charleston and the defeat at Camden, the British appeared to be gaining control of the southern colonies. British General Charles Cornwallis sought to subdue the southern backcountry using loyalist militias and aggressive tactics. To disrupt these efforts, General George Washington sent one of his most capable commanders, Daniel Morgan, to lead a small force in the Carolinas. Morgan's task was to disrupt British operations, recruit local militia, and draw British forces away from the main American army in the Southern Theater, commanded by General Nathanael Greene. Morgan commanded about 1,000 men, a mix of continental soldiers, state militias, and experienced frontiersmen. Cornwallis, eager to destroy Morgan's force, ordered Tarleton, an ambitious and ruthless officer known for his no-quarter policy, to pursue Morgan and bring him to battle. Tarleton, commanding about 1,100 British troops, including the feared British Legion, relentlessly pursued Morgan through the backcountry. Morgan chose the Cowpens, a known cattle grazing area near the Broad River, as the site to confront Tarleton. The terrain was open and slightly rolling, which Morgan knew would give his troops the best advantage. He devised a brilliant tactical plan that took into account the strengths and weaknesses of both his own troops and those of Tarleton. Morgan arranged his forces in 3 lines. The first line consisted of skirmishers, about 150 sharpshooters from the militia, who were to fire to volleys and then retreat. Behind them, the second line was made up of about 300 militiamen who were instructed to fire to more volleys and then fall back as well. Finally, the third line, positioned on a slight rise, consisted of about 550 Continental soldiers and experienced riflemen who were to stand firm and deliver the decisive blow. Morgan also placed cavalry under the command of Colonel William Washington on his flanks, ready to charge at a crucial moment. On the morning of January 17, 1781, Tarleton's forces arrived at Cowpens and immediately launched an assault, as Morgan had anticipated. The British advanced rapidly, with Tarleton expecting to overwhelm the American militia quickly. As planned, the first line of American skirmishers fired their volleys and retreated, drawing the British forward. The second line of militia did the same, causing the British to believe that the Americans were in full retreat. Tarleton ordered a full attack, and his troops surged forward, confident that they were about to rout the Americans. However, when the British reached the third line, they were met with a fierce and disciplined volley from the Continental soldiers. At this moment, the American militia, who had only pretended to retreat, turned and fired into the flanks of the British. At the same time, Washington's cavalry charged from the sides, causing chaos in the British ranks. The British, caught in a deadly crossfire and unable to maneuver in the tight quarters, began to fall apart. The Continental troops advanced, bayonets fixed, further breaking the British lines. The disciplined volleys and the pressure from the American forces on all sides led to a complete collapse of Tarleton's troops. Tarleton himself barely escaped capture, fleeing the battlefield with a small remnant of his force. The Battle of Cowpens was a decisive American victory. The British suffered heavy casualties, with over 100 killed, more than 200 wounded, and about 600 captured. The American forces, in contrast, lost only about 25 men with another 125 wounded. The defeat was a severe blow to British operations in the south. The victory at Cowpens boosted American morale and disrupted Cornwallis's plans. It forced him to abandon his efforts to subdue North Carolina and to retreat into Virginia, setting the stage for the eventual siege of Yorktown, which would bring about the end of the war. Daniel Morgan's tactics at Cowpens have been studied by military strategists for centuries and are often cited as a textbook example of the double envelopment maneuver, where an attacking force is surrounded on both sides. The battle demonstrated the effectiveness of using local militias alongside regular troops and the importance of leadership and planning in the face of a formidable enemy. In the broader context of the American Revolution, the Battle of Cowpens was a critical step towards the ultimate victory of the American forces, contributing to the downfall of British rule in the American colonies.